let us see. You see that, when everything belongs to Shiva. When we say that and understand that, that means I'm totally detached with the body, mind, intellect, and ego. When I say everything belongs to Shiva, it means I remember and recall that nothing belongs to me. It is, when I say everything belongs to Shiva, it means I simply remember in my mind, I recall, I am aware. In that awareness, ego sense does not work. When the ego sense does not work, it does not have any desire for the fruits of an action. At the same time, I focus on the activity. See little deeper way. Om Namah Shivaya. Even if I do it mentally, it is done by the tongue. Tongue is a part of Annamaya Kosha. It is body, physical. See that how it happens. By practice, we realize, oh, this is the way it is happening. So when I'm speaking, tongue is a part of the Annamaya Kosha, but the movement in the tongue is part of Pranamaya Kosha. Then the desire in that Om Namah Shivaya is a part of Manomaya Kosha. And the faith, because I'm inspired, I have understood it. So that faith is the part of Vijnanamaya Kosha. And I'm enjoying doing it. Om Namah Shivaya. It is a part of Anandamaya Kosha. That is the journey of mantra. Not many people are aware. So, who am I? What is the first principle? I am the real self. I am none of these 5 koshas. When I chant any mantra, Asato ma satgamaya. See that? Asato ma satgamaya. So my mind, even if I say things that I'm none of these 5 koshas, then my mind settles in the real self. Here and now. That is why I included 2 steps. You see that? Asato ma satgamaya. So first I said, Asato you do sasato ma satgamaya. Chanting and recitation, it means I understand the words clearly. Purely Annamaya and Pranamaya Kosha. First is the chanting. Second chanting, we include Manomaya Kosha, I know the meaning. Third chanting, I include the rest of the two koshas. I am enjoying, I have a Shraddha, I have a faith. So there I contemplate and reflect in a direction our masters has been teaching. Asato ma satgamaya. Chanting is now clear, but now I understand the meaning. Meaning only. Moving from the false to the truth. Moving from the false to the truth. Moving from the wrong notion to the right notion. Are you Ashok? No, I am not Ashok. How long it takes you to remove the wrong notion? No, I am not Ashok. Are you Taurus? No, I am not. Or I am. Movement from Asatu ma satgamaya. So it is that contemplation and reflection that leaves me of too far from the five koshas. So when I leave all the five koshas, there is no ego sense, there is no question of reaction, there is no desire for seeking the fruit. Focus is on the knowledge. Asato ma satgamaya. See that. Now, it just came to my mind that based on the five koshas, your mind will pick up this very fast. Asatu ma satgamaya. So now, because I have been repeating it again and again and again, so all the three chanting go together with the five koshas. Asatu ma satgamaya. You are in the office. Asatu. Mentally you are doing it. So ego sense develops based on these five koshas. You say goodbye to it. But now your focus is on the work. Your focus is on the karma. So our master says, what is that karma? It is nitya karma. Whether it is personal life, professional life, social life, nitya and the namitya karma, both can take. So we have two elements. What is that two elements? We have to get rid of it, and one element we have to invoke. The one element that we need to invoke is focus on the karma in the present, with the intellect understanding that desire for fruits of action is in the future. And the ego is also more or less related in the future, that I want the result. Why the hell you are not doing the work? So I'm relating that ego in the future in terms of now I am focused on the work. The way I'm speaking to you, I focus on the knowledge part. Nothing more, nothing less. So you see that is the essence of Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So we did it first time chanting. We see the vibration inside. Then Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. I recall the way I chanted. But while recalling, my mind looks at the meaning. Ignorance to wisdom. Mind, where you take the mind, there the mind goes. You ask the mind, please understand. The mind starts understanding. You see that the mind is our servant. Whether you make a male servant or a maid servant. Maid servant means beautiful servant. So wherever you take the mind goes there. So now I ask the mind, Tamaso Machyutirgamaya. So I'm singing. I'm interested. I have a desire. What is that desire? That is hidden in Tamaso Machyutirgamaya. You see that? So the mind is required to be there. Why the mind is not there? Desire for the fruits of an action and ego sense. Now you bring all the five koshas. You understand, you see the play of the five koshas. Tamaso Machyutirgamaya. Tongue, Annamaya kosha, the movement. Pranamaya kosha, the desire to move from ignorance to wisdom. Manomaya kosha, and Shraddha, the faith, because there is a clarity and conviction. That's why I have a belief. That's why that it is Vijnanamaya kosha. You see that it is not a belief, blind belief. I understand it. There is a clarity. So that is why I have a faith. Do you see that? And because I am treating the path, I'm inspired. So I enjoy doing what is right and good. Shreyas. Why our masters guide us first learn what is Viveka. First learn what is Shreyas. First learn there is a self and the non-self. See that. Now you see the reason. People do not relate it. One person recently read somewhere that if someone asks me to help, if I don't help, I accumulate karma. Very good. If I don't have a means to help, but I have to help, so I am in conflict. I don't see that conflict, but if someone asks me to help, I want to help. At the same time, I accumulate karma of not being able to maintain my life, personal and professional life, because I don't have enough money. And still I want to help. So I said, this is a crazy book, throw it and burn it. Do you see that? How people are guided by the wrong notion. If the God is not helping that guy, who the hell you are going to help? First, help yourself. So I wrote to him, please help yourself. Get rid of that garbage in the mind. Otherwise, what is going to happen? I will go to your house every day in the morning to help me. Because you have to help. Because you are bound to help. Otherwise, you will accumulate karma. It's a wrong notion. So that wrong notion is cleared by tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So you see that the beauty is that all the five koshas are engaged. Why? To find the self by the mantra, by the chanting. That is why I introduced this in the practice. So, one master is with whom I spent about 6 months and confirmed by my own master. He said, when you are saying, you see that Asato ma satgamaya, three words. So the three words engaged with the five koshas, but there is an interval, there is a space. And that space, you maintain awareness of the space, it will take you to the higher consciousness. Tamaso. After there is always an interval. Because if I if I speak all the three words together, then there is no space and then I cannot understand. So the intellect has no role to play. It becomes a gibberish. You know gibberish? Gibberish means that you speak something that it does not make any sense. You join different words together. So sometimes what people do, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, I have been doing it for the last 10 years, no result. It will have no result. You're not doing the mantra, you're doing gibberish. It will simply do Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. So intellect has understood clearly, it has a faith. And now I am saying Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. My mind is looking for the self. I can do the same Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mind may look for the fruits of an action and build ego over it. Then I am not doing any mantra. Mrityorama amritangamaya. There is a clarity that the five kosha is not me. So there is a conviction, there is a faith that these five koshas are not me. When these five koshas are not me, where comes the question of death? When there is no question of death, the ego and the desire for fruits of an action also do not stand in the way. So then I live my life in peace, in calmness, in love, and in wisdom. I remember one incident with another master. He was also, he is still alive, and he is a great master. Uh, so what happened? A guy who came to him in his ashram and started fighting that this ashram belongs to him, not to the monk. Based on previous conversation, the master said, this ashram belongs to you. The way when I go to him, he says, this ashram belongs to you. Do whatever you want to do. So when he started fighting and the monk was holding his feet, no, 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 please sit down. I will explain to you. He was not ready to listen. And the monk was holding his feet. So sometimes these great masters follow this approach. They focus in the present so that the person should realize that look at this master who is touching your feet. At least you calm down, get rid of your ego, understand. Sometimes that also happens. Sometimes they shout, sometimes they fire. The message is clear that can I live in a state beyond five koshas? This is another way to understand. So second step is that we should nitya karma and namitya karma. I should not have any inclination about the desire for fruits of an action or ego sense that I am doing it. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. That is the third step. I get enough wealth, I am the enjoyer and the doer. I don't get it, I am still the doer and the enjoyer because that gives me the pain and the reaction. I know this work should be done like this. I have employed people. I know how the work is to be done, but that guy is not doing the work it should be done. Why you have employed one? I focus on the work, so I go to him and I tell him this is the way the work needs to be done. Ego sense says, why the hell you are here? I told you to. You told me that you are an expert. No, nobody is an expert. We commit mistakes. I commit mistake. I forget the lot of things in the world outside. Do you see that? So my approach should change with clarity of understanding. When my approach changes, then what happens? Then ego sense does not work here. Then I don't, my mind is not obsessed with the desire for fruits of an action. This is that is why we I have included this practice, and I added, now look at the other step. I said Om Namah Shivaya. So I see the space between Om and the Namah, Namah and the Shivaya, one. Then I pause for a while, that all this chanting is done to bring all the five koshas together. Shiva is already there, and I see that. And that pause, that interval, and then again I say, Om Namah Shiva. Now I go to the meaning, you see that? So it has a different meaning. Om, infinite space. So when I sing Om, my mind should not go to the ego sense or to the desire, but it should be absorbed into the infinite, all pervading space. Then there is already a pause. Namah, not me. Who is not me? Five kosha is not me. Five kosha is not me. That makes me an individual. That builds the ego. That only desires the self has nothing to desire. Especially the self has nothing to desire for happiness outside. Om Namah Shivaya. So I'm even doing 24/7. I'm going to the office. I look at my daughter or son. I go to the workplace. I look at the stranger. I look at the car. My perception should change. What is most important? My perception should change. So, from where this perception comes? From the mind. How this mind perceives through the sense organs, the material world outside. How it happens? By thinking. Mantra is also thinking. Mantra word means thought. No doubt, it is a very powerful thought with a meaning into it. You say, what is the meaning of your name? Normally, people don't know it. And even if when the people know it, they don't go for it. We in our tradition, we always talk about it. There was a guy whose name is Garib Das. So Das means slave and Garib means poor. But that Garib Das was a millionaire. So his name doesn't fit there. You see that? And there was another guy whose name is Amir Chand. Amir means wealthy, and he was a beggar. So why we say that? We say because all these mantras have been revealed by the master, revealed in deep meditation. It has a meaning. So we should constantly think and contemplate about the meaning in the mind. So when we think and contemplate about the meaning in the mind, gradually we remove wrong notions. So when the wrong notions are removed, now see that when I say Om Namah Shivaya, so where is the wrong notion centered? It is centered in the word Namaha. Namaha means not me. I constantly say this is me, that builds the ego. This is me and mine. Me and mine. So me and mine, how it comes? How it comes, me and mine, how it comes to my mind, because I think about. But from where the thinking comes? Because I am attached to it. Why I am attached to it? Because I give value to it. Simple. So when I give value to a girl, I label that girl as a daughter. So first, girl is girl. Girl is girl, and girl is same everywhere. Black, white, yellow, red, whatever it is, said 5-year old, 10-year old, 15-year girl is girl. But when I give value to it and I'm attached, then I identify her as a daughter, and then my mind thinks about it. So, same way, get attached to Om Namah Shiva. I give value to the Shiva. So, when you give value to the Shiva, you are attached to the Shiva. At that moment, when you say everything belongs to Shiva, it will work. Not before that. It will work, but not before that. Not before that. So we go back. Our third principle is that simple principle that am I the doer? Am I the enjoyer? If I'm not the doer and the enjoyer, and still the work is done by me, so called me, so I remove this me, the doer and the enjoyer, with the existence, with the clarity of understanding. Again, the five koshas work here. Am I the doer? Who does it? First, outermost is the Annamaya kosha. I'm speaking. If I say I'm a speaker, so it is the throat and the larynx and the tongue, Annamaya kosha, and their movement is Pranamaya kosha. The desire in it is mind. Clarity, faith in it is the intellect, and I'm enjoying speaking. It is Anandamaya kosha. So question comes where I am. They are all instruments. Who is enjoying? My body, my mind. That is also a part of the five koshas. So I am not the doer and the enjoyer. So once we understand that Om Namah Shivaya or any mantra, now we come to the second level. Because I'm constantly performing karma, so normally that ego sense is hard to go by. It's very hard and difficult to drop it. So we say, okay, we say that everything, all the result and the karma goes to the Shiva, goes to the existence. If you believe in God, let it go to the Shiva or the God. If you don't believe in God, know it in the field of awareness that there is no doer, there is no enjoyer. Both will work fine. You see that we don't say that if you are a theist, if you believe in the law of karma, then check that you are not the doer and the enjoyer. Do the animals have the law of karma? No, because they don't build the ego. That is the main thing. They are doing the same stuff. They are going for the sex. They are eating their food. They are sleeping. They are fighting. More or less, the basic activities, what we do, they also do it. So just thinking. So I'm thinking in a rightful manner. Why I'm thinking in a rightful manner? Because the mind is the servant. But if mind carries the impression of the wrong notion, it will fire back. And then it will dictate the intellect. When it dictates the intellect, we lose intelligence. We have studied before. Loss of intelligence. Loss of intelligence leads to moha, delusion, and delusion leads to ego sense. So now, as you said, that the reaction coming from the ego sense that we understand. So look back. I have a desire, desire fulfilled greed, desire not fulfilled anger and anxiety. And all the three, the mind constantly is running, running, running. I did not set the agenda clearly. The mind is irritated, anxiety, because it is totally obsessed with the things outside. That leads to delusion. Even delusion, we can get off it through understanding. We can, why I'm running? But what happens if I don't become aware of this delusion? Then the greed continues. And if that greed is fulfilled, simple meaning, every day, every day a shopkeeper goes to the shop, earns money. Today he earned $1,000, tomorrow also, day after tomorrow. So that greed builds up. And that greed causes the ego sense. See that? I'm the doer. And that is why I am earning the wealth so much. But on the other side, if I fail, then I get jealous of others. So the pride, that very pride, is a product of ego sense, comes from the activities performed by the five koshas. Any activity is done by the five koshas. Physical movement means energy, desire in the mind, clarity about. So I have a wrong clarity, then the ego takes over. Clarity are also of two types. Come on, you are crazy. You say, I'm not the doer. I earned millions of dollars. I am the doer. I worked hard. That is why I am successful. So those people do not understand that part. They don't want to go into it. So that's a wrong clarity. Clarity is there. What is the clarity with the wrong notion? Clarity is also there. So now see that understanding the six from the pride and that ego sense is the fifth one. So any kind of reaction at the professional level, I know something. You see that I have lot of good friends here, and they are also into yoga meditation journey for 20 years. They claim they have 20 years of experience. So someone just texted me, I'm busy from 9 to 3. That is why I'm texting you. And yeah, she is wonderful woman. She is always helping others and me also. So she texted me, I saw just now, 10 minutes before your session began, that she texted me, I saw the time was 4:15, something like that. That can you take a session for a young kid at 1? I saw just now. What is the fun of texting at 4:15? You already know it, you should have done it before. But it happens. So I texted just before your session that yes, I will take it. No issue. Pride takes over. I remember now. I forgot yesterday. That is why I'm doing it. Why you forget yesterday? Because of delusion in the mind. So the fifth factor is the pride. And five koshas, the moment the pride comes, I have to go back the previous step. For before the pride, there is a delusion. Delusion means the wrong notion. Why the delusion? Because the mind is running like a pendulum. Greed, anger, greed, anxiety means fully busy, reactive, and lethargic, swinging in a pendulum. That is why I react. Even though reaction comes from the ego sense, but actual deeper inside that reaction, because the mind is swinging like a pendulum, I don't have a clarity. So what should I do? I should put intellect into the service. I should recall, simply remember, simply think. Why? Because mind is my servant. Mind must follow me. Mind must follow me. Another thing, very subtle, I think you will pick up easily, very important and very subtle, and very easy to understand, not complex. People are extremely wealthy and unhappy. And there are groups of people who are poor and very happy. It's a fact. We see it. So go for understanding. Wealth and happiness are two different things. We understand. But when we understand, then why we combine wealth and happiness for the sake of happiness? Very clear. We clear. Wealth, or you say outer possessions, has nothing to do with my happiness. Go a little deeper. Huh? The outer possessions, power, and the pleasure has nothing to do with my happiness. Clear? But still, I combine in my daily living. Very subtle, very simple, very easy to break the ego sense. Ego sense will always come due to possessions outside, due to power outside, due to pleasure outside. See that? Very subtle, very simple, very easy. Because it is subtle, the mind forgets. I'm happy in spite of anything outside. That is the, I would say, that is the, so when the person understands that I'm happy in spite of anything, he is a seeker. So seeker always understands this. But it does not mean, again, very clear. We have cleared in the second principle that we continue to work. We should never leave working. Those who think and dream of getting retired are already crazy people. What do you mean by retired? Do something, work something, engage the mind in something that is productive to yourself. If you have enough wealth, spend more and more time into the spirituality, in the self-discovery, in educating others how to earn. That is possible. So look at it. Now combine the three. 5 koshas, neither doer and the enjoyer. 6 enemies, the pride comes at the 5th, and we do not understand. And this one, the 4th one. Anything outside, when it is combined with the happiness within, I become the doer and the enjoyer. I have a pride, then I forget myself. I create a wrong notion that I am the doer and the enjoyer, and the life changes. You see, I put all these videos on the YouTube and still people do not understand. They will not. They will say, okay, this guy looks very good. It makes sense. So are you listening to me to make a sense? That is the way. Everything lies on the Google. All the teachings is present in the Google. I built a very strong ego sense long back. Yeah, almost 40 years back, or 38, 39, when I designed Shanti meditation. Ego was too much that you see that I designed it. But, it was revealed to me in the presence of my master. So I designed it. I started giving. People started liking it. Good feedback. You see that social media. In those days, you did not have the social media, but still people were there. It took a couple of years to understand that it is not yours practice. It is a wrong notion. You labeled it. Professionally, socially, I will claim this is my practice. But internally, not a doer, not an enjoyer. When you are not a doer, not an enjoyer, and you continue working, and then what happened? So 5 years blockage was there. After 5 years, I designed Shanti meditation 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything started falling into the mind naturally. When you are not the doer and the enjoyer, existence reveals the knowledge. Not in this journey, in your business, in your profession, in your journey, in your profession. I have a wonderful student and a friend who had a diploma in engineering. So I saw in him that he should rise up because internally he was so good. So I asked him to do complete the degree in engineering. So you get a lower job when you have a diploma in engineering, you get a higher job when you have a 5 years of engineering degree. So while doing the job, he completed that degree in engineering in the evening college in 10 years. It was crazy. But every time he used to come to me, he used to love me. So, no, I said, no, you have to do it. You have to do it. You failed again, you have to do it. So, he completed, I think, in 98 or 99. In 10 years, he rose on the top. He became a chief engineer. But he's very focused on his activities. So, now see that it was the expertise revealed to him and he focused on the activities. He realized, but it took him 10 years. So, why I remember that guy? Because recently, 4 months, no, just a month ago, he asked me that he wants to open a company where he can put his expertise and have an extra income because he's working in a hotel and they have reduced their pay because of COVID-19 by 20%. I said, go ahead for it. Immediately go for it. So you see that revelation takes place when you are not the doer and the enjoyer. Your focus is on the work. You enjoy because you enjoy on working. Your enjoyment is already there because you have a total clarity, you are playing your role, you definitely enjoy, but you are not the enjoyer. So I was so happy to see that, so these small revelation takes place, they change the life. So people may think that it is because he wants to earn more money. No, because he is following what is revealed in him. That is my point of understanding. That is how the masters look at it. Masters look at the activities and the work with the people they are surrounded with. There is another beautiful woman. No, she claims that she is very beautiful. That is why she is always stressed. Because I'm the doer and the enjoyer. But what happened? There was some problem in her eye, and because of that, she always feels upset and frustrated if she goes with others. So 6 months before, she fought with me. Very good. So just a week ago, she texted me, please bless me on my birthday. So I blessed her. It's a free thing, to give to somebody. So why should I not give? I have no problem. You fought with me. Now you are asking me. Both are good to me. I have nothing to do with it. You see, these small things, doer and the actor, doer and the enjoyer, builds up a very strong pride. And that pride keeps the wrong notion, the delusion. And that delusion keeps the mind running after the desired fulfillment. and it leaves the self-fulfillment. So that is the fourth step. That once now I'm not the doer and the enjoyer. Now I have understood based on these principles that that I have understood that I should have a desire, but desire to do this activity, desire to earn money, I must have it. But it should not create a delusion in me. Let me have a desire to earn the wealth, finished. This much, this is my expertise, this is my capabilities, this is my establishment. And now, when I start working, no doer, no enjoyer, no desire for the fruits of an action, no ego sense, let me work, let me. We don't have any ego sense going to the restroom, taking a shower, dressing our clothes, driving the car, unless we don't do the rash driving. You see, 90% of our activities does not have that ego sense. See that? Does not have that sense of ego. 90%. 90%. So where the desire comes, three things: power, pleasure, possession. That creates the doer and the enjoyer. So the master is saying, drop this. There is no doer and the enjoyer. You are an atheist. Believe in the Prakriti. Prakriti means believe in the consciousness force. You cannot be the body, mind, breath, intellect, and uh, so it you cannot be the doer and the enjoyer. You believe in God. Surrender. Surrender your all the works to the God. So when you surrender all the works on the God, because of we have been heavily conditioned in our life since our birth, so the binding desire returns again. Binding desire. But now you have a clarity. What is binding desire and what is unbinding desire? So after doing the three steps, I have a clarity. I become instantly alert. No binding desire. Why? Because it will take me to the hell again. It will create a doer. It will create an enjoyer. It will create a delusion. I'm doing everything at other person is doing. You see, in the Patanjali explains in the first four sutras everything. So I understand based on the commentary of the Vyasa. So in first four sutra, he explains what is a meditative state and what is a non-meditative state. Or you can say who is a meditator or who is a non-meditator. Or you can also understand who is a seeker and who is non-seeker. So what is the first sutra? First sutra is Athi Yoga Anushashanam. So there the commentator explains yoga is the highest state of mindfulness or meditation. He doesn't say that yoga is physical postures, jumping here and there. That is another part. That is a popular notion. I'm not against anything. So second says that once he says that yoga is the highest state of meditation, so there he says the mind exists in five subjective states: wandering, forgetfulness, and obsessed mind. Fourth is one-pointedness, that is becoming a seeker, and the fifth is emptiness. So in the second sutra he says yoga chittavritti nirodha. Yoga is emptiness of the mind. So in that emptiness the knowledge reveals. That is the third sutra. That now I discover my true nature. So when I discover my true nature, I experience the permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom inside. Very good. Now the fourth sutra. He says those who are not meditator, or I have added those who are not seeker, what happens? Their mind continues to live in anxiety, ego sins, doer in the enjoyer. Sarupyam itaratra. So in the first four sutras of the first chapter, he finished the entire journey of meditation. Radi sarupyam itaratraha. Those, it means those who are not a seeker, who do not know how the mind should live, which state should be dominant. Wandering should not be dominant. Why the wandering is there? Now think of it. Why the mind is wandering? Think of it. Why the mind is have fancies and imagination? Why the mind is obsessed? Do I have an obsession in the birth? No. Do I have wandering mind at the time of the birth? No. So my mind is heavily conditioned to seek pleasure and happiness outside. But what happens? Every karma is defective. Why it is defective? Now see, do you remember? I talked about it. So every karma is defective means every karma has results in pairs of opposites. Pain or pleasure, profit or loss, victory or defeat. Every karma done outside. Our self is beyond karma. Now see that. So now mind knows this, that every karma is defective. So I become the doer. I am defective. So I have a fear and anxiety inside. Now see that. This is what Patanjali is saying in the fourth sutra. So with the three states of the mind, you continue to live into that craziness. In the state of meditation, you continue to live again in the state of I would say another way of craziness. But that craziness is